I've recently received the designation of Certified Specialist in Estate Planning, and that is given by the National Institute for Excellence in Professional Education. I was required to complete a 8-course curriculum. These courses typically last from 8 to 12 hours, and each course required passing an online timed exam afterward. It also requires continuing education from now on each year in the estate planning area.
Are there a certain number of hours that you have to attain each year, or is there a certain area that you tend to focus on?
It varies. You're required to complete an 8-hour course every 2 years after that, and it can be a specific estate planning area, or it can be a review course.
And when someone hears the term estate planning, they may think of one or two particular things. What do you talk to people about, to clients about, when whether they're established or whether they're new, when you sit down with them and start going through the process?
Estate planning is more than just a process of saving taxes. It is a process of creating and preserving and protecting the client's wealth. And in most cases, the CPA is the professional who sees the client more often, who is more aware of the client's financial situation. And so even though the estate planning process involves lots of professionals, the CPA is often the one that realizes when the client needs to do estate tax planning.
So you're sort of the point person in that sense.
The CPA is the coordinator.
And I would assume it depends on each client, but what would you say, or what would you advise someone to be thinking about in terms of how much time it might require, and how long it takes to get things set up?
Well, it's a long process, and it often starts with the CPA is the organizer, the analytical person that can analyze the assets and liabilities and income and expenses of the client. But it takes several professionals. The attorney needs to be involved, possibly the life insurance professional, trust officer, investment advisor, and even at times an appraiser or a business valuation analyst. So it's a long process, and it's going to take several people. The attorney is the one who interprets the law, who drafts the documents, who puts the plan in place that the whole team recommends. And then beyond that, it's really a lifetime process, because the law changes and circumstances change for that client.
So with the new designation, what does that mean as far as some of the different things you can bring to the table now to benefit that lifelong process?
The CPA is already trained and educated in a lot of these areas, but this designation just means that I've had a lot of extra courses and training in the field of estate planning. And at this point, as far as I know, I'm the only one holding that designation in the state of Arkansas.
So you really are the point person.
Well, I guess you could say that.
Now, one of the other things that I'm sure people probably wonder about, With Jones and Company being well established, when you talk to people, do you find that they have a lot of questions to kind of get them started, or are most of your clients fairly knowledgeable about the estate planning process? I guess you handle each person or each case by case, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Has that changed over time? Does the designation help you? Because you mentioned you received additional training in other areas. What would be a particular area that might be of interest to, say, for example, an agricultural interest or a family-owned business where someone wants to pass it down to the next generation?
I mean, you have to look at everything case by case, and clients are all different. But what we have to remember is that it's not just about crunching numbers. There's a human side that we have to look at, and people handle things differently. But a lot of times, just thinking about facing their own death and their immortality is hard for clients to talk about. Losing control of their assets by passing that on to someone, as you mentioned, is a hard thing for a lot of people. And just making those tough decisions, like who they want to be the executor of their estate or the trustee of a trust they've set up. So we have to keep that human side at the forefront also when we're counseling with clients.
And obviously trust is a big part of that.
Trust is a big part, and fortunately, people in general tend to trust their CPAs above everyone else.